And good evening and welcome to City Focus. I'm Marty Olsen, your host, and tonight I'm delighted to have a young man who I've had the pleasure to meet a while back, and between he, his brother, and I think the backbone of the family, Grandma Sarah, to have CASSIUS CHANEY in the studio with me, and we're going to talk about life and boxing and whatever else comes up. I want to welcome you to the show.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. Yeah.
And CASSIUS is a professional boxer. So I think the first question I have to ask you is: this your day job?
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. It's really my full-time job. But I enjoy helping out and substituting at Benny Dover. I help out there. So
really?
Actually, yeah, it's fun. It's fun. I enjoy it.
I guess the kids don't give you too much gas.
Nah, they don't give me any problems at all. I'm more like a big brother, you know. Yeah, I'm more like a big brother to them. So, you know, they're pretty cool with me. Yeah, they're pretty cool with everybody. They're pretty
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear that. But
Yeah.
I think having a positive role model is good for the that age group in particular.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I've known some of them. It's funny seeing some of them now in middle school, and when I finished college, I was helping out at the Drop and Learn Center, and those kids were actually like kindergarten and, you know, pre-K, and now they're in middle school, and I'm seeing how they've grown up. It's pretty neat. It's pretty cool. Yeah.
Now, where you mentioned going to college? Where'd you go to school?
University of New Haven. I went to UNH and I majored in sports management, and yeah, it just worked out that I ended up just working with kids, because I always felt like that was pretty easy for me and something that I could do, you know, naturally.
Now, you didn't grow up in Southeastern Connecticut.
No. I grew up in Baltimore. But I like to say now that I see some of my friends that I met when I came here, it's kind of funny to say that. It's kind of cool to say I kind of grew up here. You know, I came here when I was like 14, going on 15. So I like to say I've had a little bit of a mixture of, you know, blending in to wherever I've needed to go, you know, or be, you know.
But New London's kind of your home base now.
Yeah, I would say that. Yeah, I've grown to appreciate New London, and even though I didn't go to high school here, I sometimes told a friend the other day that, you know, the tradition of New London, you know, being a whaler is pretty cool. You know what I mean? But I'm so appreciative, and I am happy that I went to Old Saybrook, you know, at the time that it was available for me to go.
Well, with your current career, it appears to me that the community has adopted you. Certainly, they're behind you 100%.
Yeah.
I've had a chance to see you fight twice up at the Mohegan Sun, and the locals have come out to watch you. And support you.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. You know, I would say that, you know, I've made my rounds in Connecticut, you know, just going to school in New Haven, going to high school in Old Saybrook, but living in New London and having all my friends here, and I play AAU with the New London team, so that's always been pretty neat for me, just to be able to embrace Connecticut, or Connecticut embraced me the way it has, you know. But yeah, New London is the home base, you know.
Now, growing up, did you play other sports? Or you play basketball or football or wrestle or anything? Or?
Yeah, basketball was it. That was it. I would say that I enjoy fighting movies and things like that. So I always had that natural edge to wanting to be a fighter, but I never met anybody that was doing it. I never met a kid that was going to the boxing gym every day or something like that. So it wasn't appealing to me. So I really just stuck with basketball because that's what all the kids in my neighborhood did. You know.
Your
so,
brothers played ball.
Yeah, exactly. So my
And
older
played
brother,
well.
my younger brother, and I guess like it's pretty neat too. My Alan, he ended up being a Whaler. So I'm happy that one of us went to London and was able to, have success and represent the school. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I watched him play in high school. He was a lot of fun.
Yeah. It's cool. I'm happy you went there.
His coach, Parker, I went to school with him. I mean, I've known Chop since we were in grammar school.
Oh, really? Yeah, he's cool. I like Coach Parker. He's always been cool. Yeah.
So at what point did you decide to give boxing a look or a feel? I mean, you don't just kind of get out of college and go, I think I'm going to be a professional boxer. Or did you?
That's what I did. Well, you know what? I don't know if I was thinking of really about professional, even though that's what I was watching the most. I never had seen an amateur fight before. But yeah, that's pretty much what I did. When I went in the gym, and I was like, I can do this. And I don't see why I can't, So I did it, and I won the Golden Gloves the first year. And I beat some experienced guys as well. So I said, you know what, I can do it. And I stuck with it, and now this is where I've gotten.
Golden Gloves is amateur, correct?
Yep. So.
And was that down in New York City?
No, so what happens is they have amateurs in every region, so to speak, Golden Gloves, and then the winners of the Golden Gloves, once you go open, you fight in Las Vegas.
Oh.
So that's how it goes. But when I first started, I was novice, but you have to get over 10 fights to become an open fighter. So that would be 3 minutes, 3 rounds. As a novice, you're fighting 2 minutes, 3 rounds. And those are the longest 2 minutes in your life, when you first get in there. But I think I got through it pretty easily. And then I went open, and it was harder. It was much, much harder. Because now I'm fighting guys with 40 fights, 50 fights, to my 11, 12, it was a lot more difficult.
And when you got the itch to box, where did you go? Who did you talk to? What gym did you go to?
Okay, I first would say I didn't talk to anybody. I talked to myself about it first. I had to get the courage to actually go to the gym, but I made a call to. At the time, the gym was Strike Zone on Bank Street, which is now Wayland City Boxing Club. But I made the call. And I believe Coach Kent answered, and I told him I would like to come down and try the gym out. And he told me just come check it out. I went, and it was just so much going on that I was like, yo, nah, I'll be back tomorrow. I said, I'll come back tomorrow. It felt like everybody was waiting on me to show up. That's the way it felt, even though they were doing their own thing. But when I got to the door, it was crowded, and it was like all the attention was on me. And I said, I'll come back tomorrow. And I came back, and I just stuck with it, and I, entered the Golden Gloves that year, and I won it. So I said, you know what, I think I can do it.
So when you entered into boxing, you had the mindset to be competitive. I mean, you weren't going in there just to work out.
No. Nah.
Some people do that.
Yeah, they do that, but nah, not me. Because I also was getting ready. Well, I had offers to go overseas to play basketball, so I was kind of in the middle of deciding on that, So once I decided to go into the boxing gym, I kind of knew, I'm not going to be able to do both, you know what I mean? I'm not going to be able to take this serious, get ready for somebody to fight, fight against someone, and still play basketball, competitively, So right from there, once I decided,
Now, how long did you stay in the amateur ranks, and how often were you fighting competitively?
It was hard, at the time because, boxing, especially in New England, it comes in waves. Like, you may get a wave of big guys, and now you got somebody to go against, or you may get guys that go pro, and you left being an amateur. So it was tough after my first year. After my first year in Connecticut, it was really no other big guys that were amateur. So I had to go to Rhode Island to continue to get the experience and to fight, Otherwise, I probably wouldn't have been able to get many fights. But I stayed as an amateur 3 years, which was, I think, good for me.
So that's roughly then you get out of college, what, you're 22, 23
I was
years
22,
old?
I believe. Yeah.
So you're like in your mid-20s when you make a decision to
Yep. Yep.
get in the ring for money.
Yep. Yep. It was it was tough, you know, but I knew that's what I wanted to do, and I just made the decision to do it. And
Now, in the early goings, or when you're an amateur, I mean, you must have had, I was kidding kind of at the beginning about the day job, but you must have had to do something to support yourself.
yeah, so
And boxing was part of your life, but not all of your life.
right. So when I started working at the Drop and Learn Center, I actually would take kids to the basketball gyms and stuff like that, just to help them work on their games, or they liked it. They were too young anyway. And one of the kids had a social worker that just advised me to be a mentor. So I'm like, I guess I'll try it. And Family Wise, Cynthia West of Family Wise was like, hey, you could be a good mentor. Why don't you try this? And it was very flexible. So I was lucky in that sense to have flexibility with what I was trying to do. So as an amateur, I was mentoring, you know, on the side, and I was still getting, you know, my stimulation with helping the people, helping kids, and going to train. So it worked out at the time, you know.
Well, the Drop-In Learning Center provides good services, and you were working then for Rihanna Dice.
Yep, Miss D was there. Yeah, Miss D was there at the time. Yep, it was nice. It was over at the church on Broad Street at the time.
Okay, yeah, they've moved a couple of times, I think, since. There's now down at St. James on Huntington Street. But
oh, really? Okay, yeah. So was that the church?
they were up next to the legal office there. Yeah, but I know where they were.
Yeah, it was
on
fun.
Broad and Hempstead Street.
Yeah. We had fun though. We had fun. We had cool. I had cool coworkers. I mean, it was fun. It was lots of fun.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
So when you're moving into becoming a pro, there are expenses that are involved. I mean, do you have to have, or do you have sponsors that are taking care of your expenses, and how does all that work? I mean, it's
well, you can. I think everybody's different. You know, I've kind of laid low as far as like just training and doing what I had to do. You know what I mean? And so much stuff happened so fast. Like I went from virtually starting a box to being a ranked amateur to turning pro and kind of getting up the rankings pretty fast. So what happens is that, you know, at some point you need a manager, and then your manager helps you with that type of stuff. You know what I mean? So I've been fortunate enough to be able to, you know, get some sponsors, you know, here and there, and, you know, help with the really like the training expenses, you know what I mean? That type of thing. So it works out.
Do you have a professional trainer you work with, or you work with Kent Ward?
I work with Kent. I work with Coach Kent when I'm here at the gym, and I also help the kids there. You know, that's part of the reason why it's so beneficial for me to go to the gym, because I'm able to still help the kids that want to box, you know, or I don't care, want to train or whatever. You know what I mean? I just go in there and just help whoever needs help. You know, it's fun. You know, so. For me, it's like I said, therapeutic to be able to give back and help as many people as I can if they need it, you know.
Well, that's terrific. I know in conversations I've had with Kent over time that he's got a pretty strict rules at his gym. I mean, the kids have got to abide by them, and it's beyond the gym. They've got to, you know, be in school and do their work and behave themselves, and you know, if they're going to be incorrigible, I don't think he wants them in the gym.
Yeah. I mean, it's very boxing is you need discipline. You know what I mean? You need discipline, but there's so many kids that need it that I feel like, you know, in London we have basketball, we have football, you know, youth stuff, and I think with the boxing is, you know, it all depends too. Like kids want to compete, you know, they want to be a team. They want to compete. And I do feel like, you know, we should have more kids that want to do it or be part of the team. You know what I mean? Because it's so many kids that don't make the basketball team and don't make the football team that would be good at, you know, that would be good at boxing. You know what I mean? I think it's very good for discipline. And if you know you can handle yourself, you're less likely to want to do something to somebody. You know what I mean? You know, when you know that you can do it. So, yeah, you know, I think it's okay.
You get very many girls or women that are in the gym?
For the box?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the girls are more aggressive than the guys in the gym, actually. You know, we got a girl now at the gym. I think her last name is Griswold, Leah Griswold. She's probably like 13, but she's probably the most aggressive out of all the amateurs in the gym. Like, she tries to knock you out. I think she's 2-0 now, but she tries to knock you out if you're playing around. Even with me, she'll try to knock me out, but she can't because she's too little. But she tries, though. She tries, seriously. You know, so she's a pretty good amateur, I think, coming through. You know, I think she wants to continue to fight. She goes to Waterford, I believe, and she played football, so that's part of the reason why, you know, she's so aggressive. You know, she's just like that. You know, she's a fighter for real. You know.
So where do when you're learning the trade, learning the skills to box, is it primarily in the gym or in the ring, or is it on speed bags or heavy bags, sparring partners?
I would say everything, but I would say you learn probably sparring and watching it. You know, I'll watch YouTube videos for hours and I could watch something and remember it. You know, so I'll watch, you know, different fights, old fights, and I'll see something that I probably can do, I could try, and I'll try it. You know, I'll go to the gym and try it. And I think that's what helped me when I was an amateur. You know, I would watch something similar to the guy I was fighting, and it's only 3 minutes, so 3 rounds. I could probably do that for a long period of time, and for the most part, it worked. You know what I mean? So,
do you try to pattern yourself after any particular fighter?
I would say my favorite fighter, of course, Muhammad Ali.
Favorite, I'm saying who you pattern. I mean, whose skill set you think meets yours where you can?
Probably Lennox Lewis. Maybe a little bit of Riddick Bowe, but I think defensively I'm more defensive than Riddick Bowe was. But I would say Lennox Lewis.
He's a big man.
Yeah, Lennox Lewis was like the first big heavyweight that came through the wave of, you know, the Holyfield, Riddick Bowe era. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So I would say probably Lennox. Yeah.
Now you say you're a defensive boxer. Now I've seen you fight twice up at the casino, and the 2 fights total I think lasted about 45 seconds. So those were rather offensive exhibits.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm a boxer puncher, so I feel like I can box, but I also feel I'm strong. I think I have pop. So I don't know what those fights were about. The last fight, I don't know. I don't even, you know, that guy, he didn't want to get hit really, you know. So yeah, I don't know.
But I just want to stick with the training now too a little bit, because you know when you look at or watch movies or things, I mean, when boxers are training for a fight, I mean it's I think different than just your routine going in the gym and working out. Is that a fair assessment?
Oh yeah, way different. It's much different, and I've been in some really, really great camps, so I take a little bit of something from each camp. And yeah, it's much different, you know, because you need a schedule, you need a routine, you need organization. You know what I mean? You need everything to kind of not be perfect, but it has to be sorted for you and who you're preparing for, right? So, you know, you need detail, and I'm like that for the most part, you know. So.
Is there a lot of running?
Yeah, there's some running. It depends though. I'm not a big runner. You know, but I feel like I have to be more active with my running, just getting out there and doing it. I like swimming, and I like doing stuff that's not so much wear and tear on my knees, because I played basketball for years, so I want to be able to at least keep my my knees solid.
Well, that's agility is also very important. You just
Oh,
don't
yeah.
get in the middle of the ring and
Yeah.
slug it out. I mean,
Yeah.
you've got to move and
Yeah.
move your feet and your legs and your torso and try to be evasive as well as offensive. It's kind of concurrently.
Yeah. That's conditioning as well. You do a lot of footwork drills. I do a lot of footwork drill. I do a lot of ladder, movement around the ring, being on my toes. Of course, you got to jump rope. You know what I mean? I'll do stuff when I'm at home. Just sitting down, chilling. I'll go out and just jump rope. You know what I mean? So there's other ways you can
I think
do
that's
it.
interesting because at least when I was growing up, I mean, guys didn't jump rope, girls jumped rope.
Right.
But boxers all jump rope.
We all jump rope. It's fun. You can jump rope. You can do jumping jacks, similar. But you got to do it. You know what I mean? You got to do it. You got to be on your toes because the ring is different. The actual fight ring is different, most likely from the ring you train in. Way different.
Why is that?
I think the padding is a lot more foam in the actual ring. So, you're supposed to get in the ring before the fight to try it out. Most fighters don't know that, so they don't do it. But when you get in the actual fight ring, sometimes you sink, and it's like sand, So I'm fortunate enough, I'm near the beach, so I can go walk on sand. But some fighters, they don't get the opportunity to do that. So it's different, The fight ring is
Well,
way different.
would you run Ocean Beach to
Yeah,
get some of your running in? I mean, on the beach?
Yeah, so actually, for the longest, Coach Jay would come get me. He'd take me down to, what's that? Not Harbor Beach, but I think it is Mitchell College Beach.
Mitchell's got a beach.
Yeah, maybe that beach. And we'll run on that. We'll run for 20 minutes, and then we'll do drills for another 30 minutes. So we'll be out there for an hour, and that was hard, and it was cold, So, yeah. So that's something that I do, and I don't particularly enjoy it, but I do it. Yeah.
And is your training the same for all of your fights, or do you train differently depending on? I mean, right now we're in wintertime; it's very cold out. Or do you go to a warmer place to train, or do you have the same routines?
No, different routine. I think it depends on the fighter. And also depends on, sometimes how you're feeling. Because when it's cold out, it's a little different. I have to be warmed up different. I have to be, it's a little different. Sprinting in the cold is different from sprinting when it's warm out. You're more likely to, pull a muscle. So we do different things, though, to keep the cardio up. Sprint. Like tonight I did sprints with some boxing, so it helps out. I think it opens my lungs up and it helps out for me.
When's your next scheduled fight?
We're looking at January 21st, and it's going to be in Michigan.
Michigan?
Yeah, Michigan. I'm looking forward to it. I've never been to Michigan, so I'm happy to go there and
Detroit?
fight.
I mean, Detroit's a fight town.
No, it's actually in I would love for it to fight in Detroit, but I think it's in a city called Lake Holton or something like that. I've never been, never heard of it. But I get to say I fought in Michigan and put it on my bucket list, the places to go.
Well, I'll tell you, where have you been with your fights? I mean, I mentioned twice locally, but I mean, that seems to be more the exception rather than the rule.
Yeah, I've been to Las Vegas. I've been to New York, Philadelphia, Maryland, New Hampshire, Rhode Island, England was probably the best one. Funny, was one of the good ones. And Canada. I think those have been the only places I've boxed so far. And
you like boxing in front of a crowd?
I love it. Yeah, I love it. It's different too. It's different. Like when I first came up, when I fought in Vegas, there was nobody really in the arena yet. Like they started filling in maybe second round. But then, you fight in some place like England or Canada, the fans are already there. Like it's packed already. So, yeah, it's much different. You know, it's much different energy. You know.
And have you been in a situation where, I mean, when you're fighting locally, you're the hometown guy, and you've got the fans behind you. Mm-hmm. Have you been in an arena where you're fighting and the other guy is the hometown guy, or maybe the favorite where you're...
You know what?
I mean, you've got this effervescent personality where I suspect that you warm up to the crowd.
Yeah, I was going to say it. You know what? I don't know, because I've never really, I think for the most part, I would say my fight that I lost against Arias might have been the closest to that. But I feel like even his fans weren't cheering necessarily like against me. You know, they weren't really saying too much. You know, they just was letting the fight play out. So I haven't been in any situations where like I know that the crowd is solely against me. Like I haven't fought in Mexico yet, so I don't know. You know, so for the most part though, I can't really see that. I can't really see a crowd saying like a whole crowd just saying we're going against him. I think I'm just like too laid back and whatever for that. It wouldn't bother me anyway. Yeah. So I wouldn't know.
And how often do you fight?
Well, this year I'm hoping to fight at least 3 or 4 times. You know, starting after the 21st, I'm hoping to fight at least 3 or 4 times, and hopefully we get some big fights, a couple big fights, a couple big names, and you know.
Is your goal to be the heavyweight champ of the world?
Absolutely. That's the only reason to do it. Otherwise, I don't really understand. It's like, it wouldn't be fun to just, I can't speak for everybody, but for me, it wouldn't be fun just to go in a ring and just fight for money. You know what I mean? I can make money other ways. Like, that's less stressful than worrying about somebody punching. More so training for it. You know what I mean? It's not really about getting hit. It's more, you got to get up and train. You got to get up and hear your coaches yell. You got to get up and eat different. You know, you got to eat a whole different type of meal. So, yeah.
Well, it's. I think you're on a positive trajectory now. How many fights, professional fights, have you had, and what is your record?
22-1, and I hate saying a 1, but well, I say it because
maybe that's going to be that to keep spur you on as you're moving forward.
So
there's not a 2.
Yeah, so it's not a 2, right? Yeah, so I'll make up for it, you know. But yeah, you know, it's part of the game. So yeah. So I've had 23 fights, professionally.
Well, are your fights getting longer in duration now? I mean, when you started, I'm sure your fights were, what, 2, 3, 4 rounds? And I think your main event recently, was that an 8-rounder, I think?
That was supposed to be
scheduled
8 or 10? 8 or 10, yeah. 8 or 10. They get it longer, but I don't like them to go long, you know.
Well, I would think not, but I mean, I'm talking about the schedule of the
event. Yeah. So, I've had, my last ones was 10, and I don't remember if this one was 8 or 10. So, so let's say 10. So now they're 10 rounds. My next fight is supposed to be 12 rounds. So
that's a max, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a max now. Yeah. So I've done 10 rounds not feeling well. So I know I can do 10 to 12 rounds. It's just, you know, winning the rounds, you know what I mean? Like being competitive each round and putting one in the bank and then going to the next one. Don't worry about the last one. Don't worry about the one in front of you. Whatever round is coming up, that's the round you focus on, you know? So that's something I'm going to sparring and training with, and that's it.
Sounds good. We got a call, so we'll go to the phones.
Probably my grandma.
Maybe. Good evening, and you're on the air.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. How are you? Do you have a question?
How you doing, Marty?
I'm doing well, thank you. Do you have a question or comment for my guest, Mr. Chaney?
Yeah, this is Jake from Jake's Diner.
Okay.
Oh, what's up, Jake? How you doing?
Yeah, man. I just want to let you know you got one of the greatest guys there on your TV station. I'm doing good, sir, man. I'm glad to see you, man.
Thank you. I got to stop in there soon.
Okay, well, I think we've lost our caller here, but it's good to get a call from time to time. He's a new one for the program, so that's
really?
good.
Yeah. I know Jake. He
Yep.
trains sometimes up at the gym.
Oh, really?
Yeah, when he's not busy. I know he works, he's cooking all the time. So.
Restaurant business is tough.
Yeah.
Talk about time consuming.
Right. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. I like going in there sometimes. But yeah, he comes over to the gym. He does like JIT sometimes. Something like that.
Now, are you honing in, if you're, I won't say if, because you just told me it is, your goal is to be the heavyweight champ, but there are different divisions. Is there a particular division you're honing in on, or a particular level of competition, or boxers, or you don't get yourself worried about that, and you allow your manager to kind of...
Oh, well, my division is the heavyweight division.
I understand that, but I mean,
Yeah.
but there's like the WBA or...
Oh, nah, I don't really, no, I just want to become, I think I'm like 53 in the world or something, but I want to be in like that top 20, top 15 by the end of this year. I think that would be a good goal for me, you know what I mean? So it just comes down to beating one guy with a record, you know what I mean, or a decent guy. So, yeah, I would say that would be a nice little goal for me this year. Really just focus on that for myself and see what happens at the end of the year. You know what I mean? And I think that puts me in a position to get some of the fights or a fight that I really want. You know what I mean?
Now, is the plan, Ben, when you started that, because you're improving as you're continuing to box, or you're not plateauing, you're continuing to improve, and that your competition will also be more skilled and sharper as well. And that you're building so that when you get ready to hit the top 10 or whatever, the top 5, or that you'll be ready to be competitive at that level, that you're not going to be going in there where you're really, you don't want to become chum for those guys.
Right, that's the point. You got to make sure you're getting proper opponents as you go, and that's what disappointed me about the fight at Mohegan, is that didn't move the needle for me. You know what I mean? You need guys that's going to give you enough pushback, so now you go to the next guy, give you enough pushback, and you go to the next guy. You know, and that's what I'm looking for this year. So starting with Devin Vargas in Michigan on the 21st, get him out the way, and then we'll see who's available after that, you know. And then, you know, I want to be busy. You know, when I'm active, I string together good performances. When you're stale, now you're working off rust as you're trying to get, you know, a knockout. You know what I mean? It's not a good, you know, it's not a good combination. So if I'm busy, I do better. You know what I mean? I do a lot better.
Yeah. Now, of your 22 wins, how many have been KOs or TKOs, or has anybody gone the distance with you?
A couple guys have gone the distance. Yeah, I mean, yeah, a few guys have gone the distance. Yeah, but out of all of them, I think it's like 16. So like 16 KOs, maybe something like that. You know.
Is that a goal for you, or not necessarily?
Not really. I understood, like, most of the times guys went the distance, it was early when I first turned pro. And I would hurt them, but not know that I wasn't recognizing it. You know, I wasn't up on that. And that comes with experience. Now I kind of know. If I hit you clean, I probably done buzzed you. You know what I mean? I got a feel for it now. So that comes with experience, you know, and now I have the experience. And that's why I had like a nice little run of, I don't know, 9 or 10 straight, because I could recognize it, and I can get them again, you know? So.
Yeah, I mean, I think to a casual fan would assume that you're always going to be going for your opponent's head and knock them out with a shot to the head, but and I'm not a boxer, so I'm not. But my observation as one who enjoys athletics and things is that you've got to be very, very tough in your stomach and in your abdomen, because
they chip away at you, they'll weaken you there,
Yeah,
and then they'll take you out.
Yeah, let's tell you out. Let's say you putting water in the fish tank. You know what I mean? You putting water down there, so it's true because if you start getting hit to the body, you start feeling heavy in your legs. Your legs start to go. So that's just comes with experience, though. You learn how to go to the body. That you got to go to the body. As an amateur, I kind of head-hunt it. You know, I kind of jab to the head all the time, right hand. And then as a pro, I learned kind of early on, I can go to the body, you know, and I'm becoming more and more better as a all-around puncher. So it takes time. It's just experience.
Yeah. Now you're right-handed, correct?
Yeah, yeah.
And you box right-handed?
Yep, I box right-handed. But I'm pretty ambidextrous, though. I play pool left-handed.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I do some things lefty, and I can't play pool right-handed at all. So it's like,
well, I'm left-handed, but I shoot pool right-handed.
See, yeah, some things I cannot do at all. You know, I can shoot left-handed basketball. I can shoot left-handed, and my left-hand shot is better than my right hand. It's just not. I'm not as strong because I never practice it.
Yeah.
So
well, I mean, I asked that question because in boxing, it seems that southpaws at times have difficulty getting fights because it throws the right-handed boxers off. Is that fair, or?
It's kind of fair. I don't think it's as big as it used to be. You know what I mean? When people first started saying it, but yeah, it's kind of accurate because lefties seeing righties all the time and training and sparring. But there are a lot of southpaws that are really right-handed. They just was taught early on just to be southpaw, you know, from the beginning. And sometimes I feel like I box a little bit easier from a southpaw stance. I didn't start that way, so it tends to be a little awkward for me, you know, when somebody starts coming at me, you know what I mean?
Does it alter your training if you're going to be fighting a southpaw? Do you have to?
Yeah, you gotta get sparring partners for a southpaw. Yeah, for sure.
So you get ready for that. So
for sure.
where the punches are going to be coming from and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's where it's different, because now you're not slipping a jab, right? You're not slipping a jab. You're slipping that power hand, and you don't want to slip into it. You know what I mean? So it's a little bit different. A little bit different. Lennox Lewis stayed away from southpaws his whole career, so everybody has their own preference. You know.
Well, I mean, one of my favorite boxers years ago was Marvin Hagler, and he was a southpaw.
Yeah, Marvin Hagler was one of the greatest. Yeah,
he was fun to watch.
Yeah, he was a monster. Yeah, he was a monster.
What is your fighting weight, or does it change?
My actual fighting weight. I like to come in about 250 or under, like 245 to 250. I would like that. That's my goal for
like.
Huh?
That leads me to believe that maybe sometimes you don't.
I haven't before, and I felt it because, like, as a heavyweight, you don't have to have a weight, but I realized that for me, the littlest thing can skyrocket me. You know, I could be on a scale at 249 the night before, and then eat something that night, and I get on the scale of the weigh-ins, and I'm gaining 7 pounds, you know, because some of it could be sodium, whatever, you know. So I realized that I have to be real careful throughout of what I'm eating, period.
Well, that's, I think, an interesting aspect of this as well, in terms of your diet. I mean, you can't be a cheeseburger and fry guy all the time.
Nah, I can treat myself every once in a while, but not now. I have about 4 weeks. I have to do my best to stay, you know, solid, you know, throughout the last 4 weeks, because I have about 7 pounds to get off, which I can get off in 4 weeks, but not if I'm munching, snacking. Not if I'm snacking.
Now, when you spar, what is the job of your sparring partner? I mean, I can't imagine that their job is to come in and try to knock you out. I mean, are they trying to mirror your opponent or hone different skills for you?
Depends. I think for the most part, they're coming in there to try to prove a point. You know, they're coming in to try to prove a point. Yeah, some of them. I usually typically work. You know, that's been my kind of my attitude in the past. But I've been so mad lately, honestly, that I feel like these next 4 weeks of sparring, I'm going to really take it to him. And I don't know. I just been like, I don't know, mad. I'm just ready to fight, I guess. I don't know.
You seem like a gentle giant to me.
Yeah, but I'm ready to spar. I'm actually looking forward to it. I really am, so.
Have you been knocked down in a fight?
Yeah, and it wasn't fun. But I think when you get knocked down, that's when you earn your stripes as a fighter. I think when you get knocked down, if you say you've never been knocked down in a fight or sparring or whatever, you ain't fought yet. You know what I mean? You haven't been in any real, situation yet, because it's different when you get knocked down and you got to stay composed, stay cool, and still win. And I've been able to do that. So if I were to say I don't want to box anymore today, I get to tell people for the rest of my life, I got off the canvas and I won. And it's fighters that couldn't do that, that's had great experience, you know what I mean? And it's difficult. So yeah, I have, and I was able to get up and win, and I'm happy that I earned my stripes in that.
Now, on the contest that you came up short, did you get knocked down in that fight?
Nah, I think.
So that fight went the distance?
Yeah, it was a split decision. So it was a tie, and then one judge had it ruled for him. So I look at it like it was just too close. It was too close to be in somebody else's backyard. It was in his backyard. I say if it was at Mohegan, I probably would have got the nod, but I can't fault him or the judges because it was too close. And I had moments in the fight where I could have stepped on the gas and got him out of there. You know what I mean? I was a little bit too apprehensive on my decisions.
But part of your learning experience is that when you're in somebody else's backyard, you can't leave anything to doubt. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You got to kind of win decisively.
Yeah, and well, I look at it as well too. Like when Ali came back, he lost to Joe Frazier, and the guy that I fought was similar to Joe Frazier, not as strong, not as quick. Well, Joe Frazier's quicker. The guy I fought was quicker, faster, but not as strong, not as straightforward. But I would say that. Okay, cool. All right, now going into my next fight, I'm ready just to put a hurting on them. That's it. That's it.
Have you had an opportunity any of your fights to be on television?
Yeah, quite a bit. I fought on ESPN, I believe, twice maybe. I think ESPN twice, and I think I fought on HBO undercard once in Canada. That was in Canada. And when I was in England, I believe it was on television too. That was fun. That was cool. I love the UK. They were nice. They were nice to me. So, yeah.
Have you only been there once, or would you like?
I've been to the UK probably 3 times. Twice for sparring. I was helping Tyson Fury, and then I went and fought there as well. Canada was nice too. I love Canada, and I've been to South Africa to spar. So boxing has have allowed me to travel, so I can't, I love it.
Well, one thing that, if I understand how the system works, is as if you get to the top in particular, you'll kind of dictate where the fights are. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right now, maybe if you're challenging, or somebody else is calling that shot, and you have to go there as opposed to.
Yeah, pretty much. That's how it is. Pretty much. It depends what's going on. Money. Well, now it's so much money involved that it depends who's going to pay the most money for the site. You know what I mean? For the site fee. So I guess now it's so much just like, hey, if so many fights are being done in Saudi Arabia now because they're paying the money to have the site fee there.
Middle East is a lot of money.
Yeah, so they're willing to do it. There's been so many fights there of recent, so I wouldn't mind going there, minus the flight. I don't want to see no flight that long, but it'd be cool.
Well, have you been to South Africa and England and Europe? You've all got your transatlantic flights
Yeah.
for your fights.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah.
Well, do you find different either countries or parts of the United States where there's more interest and passion for boxing?
Different. It's different because the UK, they don't have many different, like, boxing is like their sport, like boxing and rugby, or soccer. So it's a lot different, you know what I mean? And I think in the UK, your fan base can be your fan base. Like, you can have your own fan base, in which, like, for me, like, my fan base is here, but it's not like I'm able to fight at Mohegan every time. You know what I mean? If I could, that would be cool. Or Foxwoods, that would be cool. But it's not like I can do that every single time because other guys may not have the fan base here at Mohegan or Foxwoods. So it's a bit different.
Yeah. Well, have you fought in New York or Boston?
I've never fought in Boston yet, but I fought in New York 3 times. Madison Square Garden, I fought in Madison Square Garden. That was great. That was great.
Yeah, I think that would be kind of exciting. Madison Square Garden and Philadelphia. Philadelphia and Detroit are 2 boxing cities here in the United States that are famous for their boxing.
Yeah, I would love to fight in Detroit. I fought in Philly 3 times, and I think 3 times, and I fought in Madison Square Garden. That was awesome. But I would like to fight in Detroit. If I fight in Detroit, that would kind of. I got to get Boston in too. I got to get one fight in Boston.
That's pretty local for us here in Southeastern Connecticut. We can come up there and
yeah, Boston would be fun. It got to be at a good place though. Like, it got to be at a good arena. I think that would be nice. I fought in Mass, but not in Boston. No. Yeah.
Very good. I'm fascinated listening to you and your. And how old are you now?
35.
35.
Yeah.
Now, some might say that's a little long in the tooth to be in the ring. How do you respond to that?
I don't know. I think that now guys are boxing now until they're 42, high level. But I don't know if I want to box until I'm 42. Like, I don't know if I want to do that. But who knows? I don't know. I got to see how I feel. And right now I'm still fresh. I haven't been in any wars like some of these guys that have 200 amateur fights and 35 pro fights, I haven't been in any real wars, so I'm still fresh there. But I guess we'll see, I still want to have my faculty, so when I want to get into coaching, I can go into coaching and help as many kids as I can,
Yeah.
so.
I see you as a terrific a mentor for the youth at some point. I mean, you're a quality guy, and as is your brother, and you guys bring a lot, and it's nice to have you stay here at home and work with our local kids. I applaud that, and thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I enjoy it. So if I can get into coaching someday after this, that'd be cool. So yeah, I don't know if I'm boxing until I'm 40. I don't know.
Well, I just wonder if you've got your plan laid out to reach your goal when you still have got the skill set to do it.
Right. I do. Yeah.
The credits are coming up. Our time has expired.
All right.
So I want to thank you for coming in. It's been a pleasure.
I appreciate it.
And folks, you've been watching City Focus. Cassius Chaney, next week, Chef Tom.